If you've ever played the original Resident Evil 3, you'll know of the terror that Nemesis struck into gamers' hearts back in 1999. With a single word, stars.
Stars.
This hulking monster chased us down every inch of Raccoon City and then some.
Jill!
Brad!
We've gotta...
So, with the upcoming RE3 remake coming out this April, including an updated, even more terrifying Nemesis, we thought we'd look back at how this beast got his start in Resident Evil games and how he evolved into the black trench coat wearing, rocket launcher bearing nightmare that we're weirdly excited about. Welcome to MojoPlays, and today we're taking a look at the origins of Resident Evil 3's star of the show, the Nemesis. Before we begin, we publish new content all week long, so be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. First of all, we need to get this out of the way. No, Nemesis was not bioengineered from Alice's friend Matt from the Paul W.S. Anderson film series. Not only is that iteration too small to be Nemesis, but he's missing some of his natural weapons. So forget everything those movies told you. Just forget it.
Stars.
In order to get a grasp on just what Nemesis is and where it came from, we have to go all the way back to the beginning of the franchise in Resident Evil and Resident Evil 0, and an early form of Nemesis called Tyrant. You see, during the 1960s, Umbrella Pharmaceuticals, which would later become the nefarious Umbrella Corporation, was involved in eugenics research with the aim of developing an elite race of human beings via the progenitor virus. But in order to fund such a massive project, Umbrella needed to develop a highly effective bioweapon that held incredible military and financial upside from the progenitor virus and called it the Tyrant virus, or T-virus. Deep within the laboratories of the spooky Spencer and Ashford mansions, the T-virus was used to create the Tyrant, which was designed as a weapon that could largely eliminate the need for large-scale armies in future armed conflicts. Unlike the mindless zombies created by the outbreak of the T-virus, the Tyrant was developed with more advanced genes to increase its intelligence and receptiveness to command. The first version, called Tyrant T-001, was considered an outright failure because it was too primitive to take orders and suffered from many physical and neurological defects, including exposed organs. Yeah, that might be a problem. It did, on the other hand, contain great regenerative powers. Eventually, this Tyrant would break out of containment, but it was easily taken down by STAR's rookie Rebecca Chambers and ex-Marine and fugitive Billy Cohen. So, a second version of this Tyrant was developed, in the T-002, that was the first Tyrant deemed to have human-like intelligence along with a strong physical build. This model also failed, as it was unable to follow orders as Albert Wesker learned too late.
What? Premature.
And it was ultimately wiped out by STAR's members Chris Redfield and Jill Valentine thanks to a convenient rocket launcher their helicopter pilot Brad Vickers had with him. Forced to go back to the drawing board, Umbrella next unveiled an even closer relative to the Nemesis in the T-103 Tyrant as seen in Resident Evil 2. It was named T-103 rather than T-003 because it was seen as a vast upgrade from the earlier unsuccessful models, though it may be better known by its unofficial nickname of Mr. X. Most importantly, Mr. X's intelligence was greatly enhanced, as was his ability to take and follow orders. Thus, it was used for a variety of purposes, as a delivery man, bodyguard, assassin, and never flew out of control like the earlier models or had any genetic defects. A total of 6 of these T-103 Tyrants were sent to Raccoon City during the events of Resident Evil 2 and were tasked with wiping out any remaining survivors. We know of 2 Tyrants that were sent to the Raccoon City Police Department. They targeted the first day cop Leon Kennedy and Claire Redfield respectively. Leon was able to take down his with yet another convenient rocket launcher, provided by the mysterious Ada Wong, while the one stuck in Claire was killed by the G-virus infected William Birkin. It is unknown what happened to the other 4 Tyrants. The next breakthrough that brought us to the Nemesis of Resident Evil 3, or Nemesis T-Type, was created using the older T-103 model and combining it with an NE-alpha type parasite. This was a genetically engineered parasite that had been used in prior Umbrella experiments, with the overall goal of creating a highly intelligent and powerful bioweapon. Initial tests on various animals such as flies, spiders, and dogs delivered mixed results, while one human test subject, Lisa Trevor, ended in failure as her body rejected the parasite but still adapted to its genome in ways that were detrimental to Umbrella's overall goal. Injecting the parasite into the T-103 Tyrants ended up being a major success with both the NE Alpha project and the Tyrant project, as use of the parasite made what is now dubbed Nemesis to be smarter and much more capable than the Tyrant line. Not only did NE Alpha increase its IQ, but it also gave Nemesis superhuman strength, speed, regenerative powers, and it also didn't hurt that he came armed with a rocket launcher. The Nemesis T-Type has thus been sent into the zombie-infested Raccoon City to eliminate surviving STARS members after the events of the Arklay Mountain incident in Resident Evil 1. Now, from this point onward, there will be spoilers with how the original Resident Evil 3 on the PlayStation 1 played out. So if you haven't played that game or want to go into the remake as blind as possible, you might want to stop here. Alright, spoiler territory time. The Nemesis had one notable kill in taking out the team's helicopter pilot Brad Vickers, but eventually, it too met its end at the hands of Jill Valentine. But even after its head and arm had been blown apart, it didn't stay down for long. Its remains became sentient and feasted on a failed Tyrant model, transforming it into an unprecedented monstrosity that could now spit acid. Only through the use of an experimental rail cannon was Nemesis able to be subdued, but not entirely killed. While the original Resident Evil 3 does give Jill the option to finish it off with a magnum, it's unlikely these bullets would prevent it from regenerating, considering what it had endured prior. Not that it mattered anyway, as the city was later wiped out in a nuclear missile strike, taking the Nemesis out with it. But in gaming, great characters never die. And lucky for us Resident Evil fans, Nemesis will be back and scarier than ever this April in the Resident Evil 3 remake. And, as we've seen in early trailers, he's not gotten any smaller, or less intimidating. Okay, he has a flamethrower now. Oh man, this is going to be a nerve-wracking good time. Also, considering the changes made to Mr. X in the Resident Evil 2 remake, it's very likely Nemesis won't go down the same way he did in the PS1 original. That just gives us all the more reason to yell, "Bring it on!" Do you agree with our picks? Check out this other recent clip from MojoPlays, and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.